Hey guys, for Take Three Productions, I am Chris Doman here with me today. As always, it's Kees Cornelesa, and we're here basically to wrap up Star Wars Celebration Orlando 2017. Case, uh, how do we even describe this year?
This was great. It was amazing. It was everything I hoped for. It was just awesome.
Easily, it was easily better than London, and I would
That's
say
not a
on
question.
par, if possibly slightly better than Anaheim.
Yeah, I didn't see Anaheim two years ago, but Celebration last year was the first one I saw, and besides Rebels, that was kind of disappointing. And this did not disappoint. The Celebration, all the panels lived up to it, or were even better than I had hoped for. It was just I had a lot of fun. I'm exhausted, but that in a good way. That's good. So
Yeah, no, I mean, Christ, all the people there are exhausted. We're exhausted. I can't even imagine how Evan feels, but yeah, it's been a great day. So, it's been a great weekend. Ugh. Yeah, and so we're just gonna sort of go over our thoughts on what they did this year that was really great. We're gonna talk about some things that maybe they could work on for next year, and gonna
hmm
do a couple of our favorite panels, and then we're gonna top it off by talking about a couple of our favorite games and novels. Would that sound about right?
yeah, yeah, good idea, good plan. I like it.
Okay.
Misa like this.
Anyway, so yeah, so day one, as we said, previously, it was a perfect opening. It was a
Yeah,
perfect opening, and that first day was solid. Everything from the 40th anniversary panel to the Collider Jedi Council panel to a bunch of the interviews I saw them do for the Star Wars show. Seeing Hayden Christensen, goddamn, I used to love that man, and I think some of that passion got resparked on Thursday because holy shit, he looks great, and it looks like I think he's ready to embrace Star Wars again because it looks like Star Wars is ready to
I hope
embrace
so.
him again.
I hope so. I mean, it really was a surprise to me to see him come out and just the entire room erupted. Everyone was happy, was clapping, was cheering for him because he got the most crap from Star Wars fans out of everyone that has been involved in Star Wars simply because everyone hates how he portrayed Anakin. To be fair, was he a good Anakin? Not really. Was that his fault? No, never. I've always said that was not his fault. He is a good actor. I know he is. And the thing is to have him come out there and to just have fun, have a good panel with Ian McDermott as well. It was just great to see that. And it was just great that the Star Wars community has apparently accepted him. And I just hope that he plays Anakin's Force Ghost in The Last Jedi. Have him be in there. Have him be the good actor that I know he is. Piss off some people who hate on him. I don't fucking care about it. I just want him to be back because I know he can be good, and I want a good Anakin Skywalker. So
I think some of my influence has rubbed off on Case because yeah, no, seriously, look, I would say to his face, I was not a fan of his performance in Attack of the Clones. Revenge of the Sith, however, again, super overcrapped on. So overcrapped on.
I disagree.
I know, I know, but that's why we have differing opinions, Case. You know, and
But
and
I will admit that he has his moments in both Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. There are moments that you can see that he knows how to act, that he has good moments. It's just moments and not the entire movie, which sucks.
fair enough. And another thing, just to reiterate, Harrison, thank you. Thank you for
Yes.
actually coming out and talking about the experience and not looking like a grump.
He
And
had fun.
he had
He
fun.
was laughing. He was making jokes. He was taking jokes. It was fun. Yeah, it was good.
It was a lot of fun. And like I said, the Collider Jet Council panel. Holy shit, that was a lot of awesome to be seeing.
Yeah.
Case, did you finally get a chance to get caught up on that, or?
Yeah, I did. It was I don't look. The thing is, if I remember every Jedi Council that I see, I would remember like 100 episodes of Jedi Council. So I remember it being fun and good, and just I liked it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, I mean, plus just seeing all those people there, just it it kind of blew me away because it's like I would be in that group if I was there.
Everyone.
So yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, who wouldn't want to be there?
Exactly, and everyone here at Take Three would happily be a part of that, partially because of all the Schmodown reactions we've been doing, but also because we really
Shameless
wish we could
plug.
go. Exactly. Hey, come on! I was overdue for one. I
It's
mean,
okay.
Christ,
It's all good.
just realize something, though, Case. I think I've only mentioned our Star Wars show once during this whole weekend, because
Im-
technically speaking, this whole weekend has been one giant Nights of the Podcast episode.
Impressive. Most impressive.
But you were not a Jedi yet. Anyway, so let's move on to Friday, and the best early Christmas gift I could have gotten finally came to us,
Last
and it was, and I've gone back and I've seen it now like I think like 20 times, and it's so perfect.
it keeps getting better. That's a fun thing. Like it keeps getting better. The first time I was extremely overwhelmed. Then I saw it again, and then I saw it again, and I saw it again, and I saw it again throughout the weekend. And I kept watching it, and it was like, oh my god, this is so good. This is amazing. I can't wait. It was awesome. So yeah, of course. I love the trailer. I love the panel. It was just good to see that. Um, can't wait to see more from it. What is it? Oh, damn it! For 8 months.
I know.
Okay.
I mean, Christ, I if I had been there, I could have hooked up with the chick, and then 9 months later, I could have taken our child to go see it. So
If I were there and found a little Hera cosplayer,
oh
yes, I would.
shit.
Knew I was getting flagged.
Yep. But
Yeah.
you son of a bitch.
The
But
innuendo is strong with me.
as my boss at work would say, I got nothing. And then we came to uh, again something really emotional, really heartbreaking, but also something very hilarious, and that was Carrie Fisher and the Carrie Fisher
Tribute
tribute.
panel.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mark Hamill is a legend. Was a little was a little bit bummed out by today because his voice was completely destroyed, but still, the man knows how to entertain people, and he is so genuine. He is so fun, and he was so well able to tell us everything about Carrie, his relation with her, and both funny and touching, and not make it over the top or anything. Just make it genuine, and it was so cool to see that. Such a well done panel.
It was. It really was. And uh, I, it's kind of funny because the whole time I was watching, I was expecting to be crying my eyeballs out.
And
But
we didn't.
here's how I know I'm moving on. How I think in terms of the grief model, I think I've finally hit. Uh,
Point of acceptance.
yeah, I think I finally hit the point of acceptance.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it was also, I also think that it had to do with the fact that I was crying my eyeballs out the day before with the 40th anniversary, because they already did a tribute in the video. Because like I had seen that, so I was kind of prepared for that. And just have the panel. I mean, it was still touching, but it was really good. and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'd be remiss if I didn't include um what another interview that I saw on Friday, which was Harrison Ford doing the Star Wars show.
Yeah.
That was incredible, and
Yeah.
George Lucas simultaneously. I don't know why I forgot to bring it up for the Thursday discussion, but oh my god, that was awesome,
It
especially with the
was.
back and forth.
I I missed it. I only saw it on the wrap up video today because I was not able to watch everything live. I already caught up with most of the panels, but still it was a chore for me to watch everything and also get videos out and whatnot. So yeah, I
Which,
missed it.
again, dude, thank you for, taking
Happy
taking
to
the
do
lead
it.
when I wasn't around at certain times. Which seriously, appreciate it.
Happy to do it. Yeah.
Plus, I mean, you are technically an employee, so.
I am besides that, I'm an employee of the weekend.
Although I'm sure Jacob would love to fight you for that one, but yes.
Who's around right now and who isn't? I believe Jacob has been around for 2 days. So sorry, not sorry.
But so then Saturday, Rebels, baby. It's all about
My
the
favorite
Rebels.
panel. My
Yeah.
favorite panel is
Well, okay. No, not my favorite panel, but definitely up there. The 40th
yeah.
anniversary though is
Look,
still my favorite.
I'm biased,
I
so
know.
yeah, it was my favorite panel.
I know.
um, yeah, love the Rebels panel. Great trailer. Bittersweet because of the fact that that season 4 is going to be the end of it. However, on the other hand, it's going to be great because it's going to be just 15 episodes. Ahsoka lives. Hera becomes a general. It's going to be awesome. So can't wait for it. Trailer looked great. Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much. Probably my most half-assed reaction I've ever done, but I'll admit I was so blown away. I had nothing else to say. So,
exactly.
yeah.
And we had a very in length, in depth discussion afterwards. So if you want to check that out, 46 minutes of us just geeking out about everything Rebels.
um, and it again, it wasn't just that because the Billy D. Williams panel, I freaking loved that. I loved.
It was great.
It was a great panel. I thoroughly enjoyed watching some of the cosplay championship for this year, and there was a
Yeah,
lot of good stuff.
there was a lot of good
And
stuff.
um,
Another big panel yesterday.
well, yes, Battlefront 2, the trailer. Actually didn't get time to watch the panel, but I did watch the trailer and I did see a couple of highlights. And
Okay,
I,
there are
yeah,
a few things that you need to know about this in that case because there were a couple of interesting. You know, the book that had been announced a while ago called Inferno Squad.
yep.
That's a prequel to Battlefront 2. That's the storyline that they're going to continue in Battlefront 2. Inferno Squad is led by a certain character, and the character in Inferno Squad is going to be the main character that you play as in the campaign of Battlefront 2.
Who is
Battlefront 2
not
take
Ray Sloan?
no, she's not Ray Sloan. The campaign takes place between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. You're going to start off when the Death Star gets destroyed on Endor, and after that, the story is canon. So that's cool.
And okay, well, and we'll talk about this when we get to our favorite games here in a while. But that's the one thing that always did kind of bug me is yes, I'm cool with the story itself and the games being canon.
hmm
But the thing is, games are interactive. You make the choices of what exactly how it happens.
Well,
So
it does depend. It does depend on what type of game. Like in terms of Knights of the Old Republic, that can't be canon because you in the can choose different paths. But in the case of Battlefront, I think it's a little bit more like Call of Duty and Battlefield, which are campaigns that are mostly just in one direction. And while you can make little changes during the game, mostly the campaign itself goes in one direction, and you can't really deviate a whole lot from it. So that is how it can fit into canon, which I'm very cool with. And the game looks awesome. It comes out November 17th. I'm going
My
to save up for
birthday. And
exactly.
same
It's
day
going
as
to be a
Justice
nice. It's oh, this is probably going to be the better birthday present, I assume.
League. Yep.
I'm sorry. As much as I want Justice League to be great, I know this will be great, and I don't know if Justice League will be great. But the thing is, my birthday is only 3 weeks later, so yeah, this will be a nice little birthday present. I'm get a PS4. I'm gonna get Battlefront 2, and I'm gonna play the shit out of it. So yeah, that's gonna be awesome because it
And
looks
I
awesome.
will be kicking your ass all the way.
We'll see about that.
or knowing my luck, we'll just both be on the same side and we'll just kick ass together. Hey,
Hey,
because
virtual high five.
okay. So yeah, and I'm not gonna lie. With that bit of information, I'm I am still a tad nervous just because the last Battlefront stunk, but I'm I'm excited. I got a little hype going because I know it's
They
gonna be.
learned.
I know they learned, but sometimes it's how much did they learn? Because uh, I'm sorry for going back there again, but as I was saying, George learned for Revenge of the Sith, but he didn't learn enough. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know, but I assume they learned. I assume they learned enough. So
You assume too much. I'm kidding. But or
fuck
so.
that. Fuck that. Are you quoting one of the most wooden, shitty performances in film history? Fuck you.
Love you too, Case. So, but yeah, and then it topped off on Saturday with the biggest, which for me, I'm not gonna lie, that was probably the most fun, which was Smuggler's Revenge, the audio drama.
Didn't see it yet.
Oh, that's fine, dude.
I
I'm just
was
gonna.
uh I was catching up just now with Anthony Daniels, and Smuggler's Run was the last panel after that, so I can see it.
You are gonna have a ball with that one, my friend. Seriously, like that one is gonna be a lot of fun. The guy who does the
Wait
voice of
a,
Han Solo, he
no, wait a second. I was there. I just started it actually. So yeah,
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna
Well, then
continue it later.
look forward to finishing it because like I said, it is so much fun. It honestly,
Mhm.
here's the thing that it, it feels like an audiobook almost. Even though this is just a glorified fan fiction, it's a very well made glorified fan fiction.
Well, if you get like all the voice actors from Rebels and whatnot in there, yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. Then
Oh,
today,
hey, I just found a list that we can also do lightsaber battles if you have that.
are we talking strictly canon or are we talking everything?
Canon. Top 5 canon.
God damn it, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do it.
All right. But
And you're gonna hate me for number one, but we'll leave that up to you guys to decide if it's justified or not.
yeah.
But so yeah, then today we had Mark Hamill, which dude, good on you for being a trooper, man, and sticking through.
My God.
He barely got through, but I'm glad he did.
I feel for him because you know he wanted to do it. You just also know that the fact that he had to do it the last day when he has talked so much throughout all the other days, because I know exactly how it is. I've had weekends before that I had to talk a lot throughout the weekend, and that on Sunday my complete voice was done. So yeah, too bad for that, but still, was a really fun panel, and the dog stole the show.
That dog stole the show, indeed. That dog was so cute. I just wanted to
Yeah,
pick him up and pet him.
yeah.
But I got two dogs here at my house right now, and they're a handful as is. So uh,
Nice.
I'll just go pet them instead. So and it's kind of funny. We were talking to Evan off air before we started, and I mean, I'm not gonna say it was the best closing ceremony just because I was expecting to see more people live on stage, but
It wasn't
it
bad.
it wasn't bad. It was good. It was
It
just
was good. Good close.
yeah, it's good, not great.
It's good.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have any other closing thoughts on the closing ceremony?
Not really. Look. Okay, so Star Wars fans hate everything, so I'm gonna complain about everything. So I need to complain a little bit. Uh, no new anthology movie announced. A little odd. It makes sense, but a little odd. They could have announced it because I assume they already know what they're doing. It's just that they wait for the right time to do it. And the only reason that they didn't announce a new one is because they started the push for the Last Jedi, the marketing push. So they wanted to keep the focus on that for this weekend, and then announce another thing at D23 or perhaps Comic Con or perhaps later down the line because they got some years before we actually get to the new one.
True.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
because that wouldn't get released until 2020. So,
at least yeah.
but oh, hello. So actually, I'm looking at the live chat right now, and we actually got some people watching, including our founder, Harvey Dreyer. Hey, man, shouldn't you be in
Hey.
bed?
All right, so there are two
Uh,
things. Harvey, you should either be in bed or join us or die. Sorry.
but well, to be fair, I don't know if he watched all of Celebration, so I don't know how much he could actually add to the conversation. But
Well, I don't. I know. I know from chatting with him during the weekend, which is odd. Like, how did I chat with him during the weekend? But not no, whatever. But I know that he was not really that invested in celebration. So, eh.
eh. Well, okay. So that being said,
Fucking British piece of shit. Sorry.
hey, hey, it's fucking Ginger, British piece of shit. Thank you very much. That's what
But I'm
Ryan would
ginger.
make us say.
That's the thing. But I'm ginger too. I know. I
Yeah,
don't know soul. Fuck you guys.
I know. Yes, as you can tell, we obviously
See you guys. I'm doing him.
we look we make fun of ourselves all the time here because that's just what we do. We're friends, we're colleagues. It's all good. But so overall, I'm not gonna like I said, out of the three celebrations I've seen, I think this has been the best one because
Could very well be. Yeah.
I think this one also, to be fair, had the most to. And granted, maybe I'm just saying that because I was indirectly involved. We were constantly doing shit like all this weekend. We have been doing up a bunch of content, a bunch of crazy shit, and it's mostly for us, but for you guys as well, because for our whole three fans, you know, um, we also want to get our own voices heard. We want to see if anyone else agrees with us who aren't big
Hmm.
names at Lucasfilm or Disney or whatever. You know,
We're just a bunch of losers shooting from our mom's basement. So,
it,
and we know a little bit too much about Star Wars. So
technically,
us being dorks.
they're technically. I mean, my mother's office, not her basement.
Yeah. Look, if we're going to go into details, then I don't even live with my mom anymore. But I was making us more pathetic than we actually are, because we are pathetic already. So who cares by exaggerating?
Okay, that's one way of putting it. So, all right. But yeah. So that being said, let's wrap it up with just with some fun lists, just for the fuck of it.
Yeah, why not?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's start with our top 10 favorite novels, both
Top
legends
10
and canon,
novels.
because for me
God
personally,
damn it.
I can't do enough novels for a top 10 list. Actually,
Well,
I
no, no, no.
can,
You
I
can.
can,
Yeah, you can.
but
The number 10 you wouldn't want to mention.
the number 10 would be reaching for the bottom of the barrel a little bit, at least for me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, yeah, Case, do you want us to do the 10 through 6, 5 through 2, and then 1?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it.
I'll start and I'll say that I didn't include Legends. The only Legends book that I have read is Out of the Empire, and you have that on your list, so you'll talk about that in a sec. But
Hmm.
I look, the thing is, I have read 15 of the canon novels so far. The only one that is out that I haven't read is Heir to the Jedi because I heard only bad things about that, so I'm avoiding that one. So my number 10 is Ahsoka, which I think is a good book, not great. What they nailed about that book is the character of Ahsoka, which was great because it really bridged the gap between Clone Wars and Rebels. So that was good. It's just that besides Ahsoka, the characters that are in the book, I don't give a crap about them. So that was one of the things that dragged it down a little bit. Number 9, I have the novelization of The Force Awakens. Very solid novelization. Just adds to the movie even more because it gives you a little bit of insight into characters' thoughts, a little bit more extra canon stuff, and I thought it was cool. Number 8, I have this one a lot lower on my list than other people do. Lords of the Sith. I did really like this book. What they nailed is Darth Vader and the Emperor's characters and Cham as a character. The only thing, my issue with it is it's one big battle scene and not a whole lot happens that has any effect to the rest of the universe, to the rest of the canon, which is the reason why I didn't love it as much as other people. At number 7, I have the Rogue One novelization, which definitely is better than the Force Awakens novelization simply because it's thicker and it gives a lot more insight into Rogue One. Like, Rogue One is definitely an imperfect movie, it has a lot of issues. The Rogue One novelization already fixes quite some issues, makes you care a lot more about the characters, which I thought was great. And then at number 6, I have Tarkin. Great character piece for Tarkin as a character. I was never a huge fan of him up until I dived more into canon stuff like his novel Catalyst and whatnot. And this was one of the first books released in canon, and it was just great. And it gives a lot of nuggets for the rest of the canon universe as well. And it also brought back some stuff from the Plagueis novel, which was also cool. So yeah, that's 10 through 6 for me.
Nice. And it's funny you say Plagueis because that is my number 10. I
Coincidence? I think not. Sorry.
exactly. And the reason is, I mean, look, James Luceno is a phenomenal author.
Yep.
I love his writing style, and the fact that he captured the characters of Sidious and Plagueis so perfectly, so beautifully. Every moment is just dripping in atmosphere. It's fantastic. Um, I mean, but the thing is, though, there are a couple of nitpicks I have with it. But other than that, it's a great book, and and I know it's on your list, so that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Besides like 10 other Legends novels. Get on it. I know. I'll get on it soon enough.
No, you're good. Number 9 for me is Ahsoka,
Oh, wow.
because when you take my favorite character from the Clone Wars / Rebels cartoons, and you tell me what she's been up to. You give me all those details about how she survived Order 66, the lengths that she had to go to make herself hidden, and then how she had to be convinced to come back into the cause at all. It's phenomenal. And look, minus the crystals controversy, it is what it is. And I think Case just died.
Yeah. Yeah. Continue. continue.
You talking about the
Ah,
oh, you're talking about the live
ah.
chat, huh?
Hmm?
You're talking about the live chat?
No, no, just continue.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. You'll tell me after we're done. So okay. My number 8 is Catalyst. I again, James, you beautiful man, you brought me into a world that I wasn't expecting. You showed me some characters that I wasn't sure if I was gonna like, and then I wound up loving them. So thank you for just.
Hmm.
And honestly, it makes Rogue One better for me because without the context of Catalyst, I probably would have not liked it that much, if I'm being honest.
Hmm.
So, yeah, there's that. Number 7 is the prequel to Revenge of the Sith, known as Labyrinth of Evil, which, um,
Legends.
yes, yes, I know, but it's such a good book. It's just to give you a quick idea, which is another James Luceno novel. There's a lot of James Luceno on my list, but not that that's a bad
Makes
thing, mind you.
sense.
Um,
That's not a thing at all.
nope. Then so the story is there's some shit going down on Cato Neimoidia, and Anakin and Obi-Wan have to step in and get involved. And um, what basically it becomes a hunt for General Grievous, and Anakin starts to really discover his inner dark side while he is in this trial, and it's kind of frightening. Like, okay, you and I really love the Zygerian arc and Ghost of
Yeah.
Mortis arc from Clone Wars. Um, Picture that Anakin jacked with rage.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice, nice.
check it out sometime. Add to the list. And my number 6 is a little book that you really love called Bloodline.
Oh, yes. I'll get to that
It's
one
it's
in a
it's
second.
it's Star Wars, and exactly that's why I'm just gonna say this. It's politics made interesting. So 5 through 2 case, take it away.
5 through 2. Okay. Sorry, I was a
Oh
little
no, you're
distracted.
fine.
All right. Number 5. I've probably the most underrated book in the entire canon. A New Dawn. People have not read this book. Like I have met. I've talked to so many people online who are like, "Oh yeah, I really like Rebels," and then I'm like, "Have you read A New Dawn?" No. Read A New Dawn. It's so good. I loved it so much, and it made me love the characters of Kanan and Hera so much more. So yeah, just read it. Number 4, book that you already mentioned, Catalyst, because Catalyst is just so good. James Luceno, like both Tarkin and Catalyst are written by James Luceno, and I have seen backlash, like some people that don't like it because of the writing from Luceno. I just love it. It's very detailed, very in depth. So that I really appreciate that. He explains it very well, and it's just awesome. And Catalyst makes Rogue One, along with the Rogue One novelization, so much better. And people, you can keep saying, you can keep bringing up the argument. Oh, you don't need to you don't have to read a novel to fully appreciate the movie. I get it, exactly. But I do read it, and then I do get my full experience out of the movie. So fuck off. Let me just read my shit. And then at number 3, I have Lost Stars. Um, One of the two books that made me cry out of all the canon books because Lost Stars is fucking brilliant. Amazing depth uh, into amazing insight into two characters in the Empire. It's essentially Romeo and Juliet in Star Wars. It spans over the time 11 years BBY until 5 years ABY, and it just tells the story about these two youngsters growing up together in the Empire. One of them turns to the rebellion, and they have to figure out how to work that out. And it's just brilliant. It's just absolutely brilliant. And then number two, when you already mentioned Bloodline. Bloodline was my introduction to canon, and the that's mainly the reason I have it higher than Lost Stars. I don't know how it would have been if I had read Lost Stars first and then Bloodline, but Bloodline was my introduction to canon because it was the book that made Harloff canon. It was awesome.
Right.
Because the moment that had happened, I was like, I gotta read this book now. I think, and also I asked Harloff on Jedi Council, like, what is the book about? And he answered my tweet on Jedi Council, and it
Nice.
was like nice. That I think I have to read it now. So I read it, and I was like, this book is awesome. As you said, politics made interesting. Leia made a badass, and it gave so much more insight into Leia's character, and it's a great addition to the Force Awakens. It makes you understand the Force Awakens a lot more, makes you care about things in the Force Awakens more. That was really cool. So yeah, that was my 5 through 2.
Nice. And apparently our founder would like to remind us, language, gentlemen.
Fuck
Harvey,
you.
fuck you. All right, so my number 5 is I'm cheating. The Darth Bane trilogy. Path of Destruction, Rule of Two, and Dynasty of Evil. And here's the funny thing. I am pissed at Drew Carpetian. But when it comes to any novel that isn't Revan, he's amazing. Because how
Revan
can you?
again.
Okay, yeah. I'm
No,
not getting
we're
it.
talking about favorites. We're not talking about hated.
Exactly. I mean, shit. Just one quick side
It's
note.
Star Wars Celebration.
It is
Let's
celebration.
celebrate it.
Let's celebrate the great stuff. Darth Bane is easily the most interesting Sith Lord of all time. The fact that he single-handedly figured out, what the Sith were doing wrong. The fact that he was able to realize, hey, maybe this whole creating an empire thing, maybe that's not what we should be doing. Maybe we should be just kind of a quiet, hidden figure. What is going on?
My Empire Strikes Back post just dropped. Oh,
Okay. As soon as we're done, he's gonna go fix that.
keep going.
I'm
We're
gonna
live.
get back on target. Stay on target.
Stay on target. We're too
Uh,
close.
exactly. But yeah, no, Darth Bane, such a fascinating character. One of the greatest Sith Lords who ever lived. And I swear, he is just so crazy, but it works. And that's why number 4 I have number 4 I have the Thrawn trilogy. My God, talk
I
about a
thought
case.
I
Talk
thought
about
you
a
had
case
it now.
of each
Different.
book getting better as you're reading them. I mean, you start off with Heir to the Empire, which is
Loved it. It's so good.
it's so good. And then you have Dark Force Rising, which takes the story even further. And then you have The Last Command, which is the greatest possible send off for who is, in my opinion, still arguably the best Star Wars villain of all time.
Oh yeah, he's the best for sure.
Yeah. And I haven't read the canon Thrawn novel because my copy is still in the mail. Fuck you, Amazon. But and to think I was gonna come work for you.
Oh boy.
But
Oh boy.
so it is what it is. And again, the fact that we got three novels that have stood the test of time. So much so that when they were, said, "Oh, this isn't what happened," in fact they brought them back essentially. So
In a way.
in a way, and it's yeah. So okay, my number 3 is Lost Stars.
Hey, the same.
Exactly, and for pretty much the same reason that you love it so much. It's a tale as old as time, but here's the thing: when it works, and in this case, it really works. So, my number two, I'm cheating because I'm using a series of books. That being Legacy of the Force, which again, Legends. It's my favorite series from Legends because it tells the tale of post Yuzong Von War in a galaxy that is almost completely destroyed. Trillions of lives have been lost, and there's a guy by the name of Jason Solo who wants to do something about it. And it even goes so far as to him turning to the dark side, killing his aunt in the process.
Hey,
And
that reminds me of another character in canon.
yeah, a little bit. And actually it's kind of funny because the way that Mara Jade dies is sort of similar to Han Solo.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Oh, shut up. And then the way it ends with the book Invincible, it's it destroys you because you are watching. Yeah, sure. In Revenge of the Sith, you have two figurative brothers fight, duking it out. Here, you have two actual blood siblings who are fighting. And even as far back as Heir of the Empire, you had Jason and Jaina, and now here we are. They're all grown up, and they are they're in the fight of their lives against each other. So it's
Right.
it's so emotional to see Jason fall, and because you don't want him to fall, you want him to succeed, you want him to actually stay a good guy, but you have to realize, no, this is the path that he is destined to take because there's too much of Anakin in him.
All
It's
right.
kind of ironic considering his younger brother who died was also named Anakin. Yeah, so
Oh,
that's
the
my top two.
irony.
Oh, the irony.
All right.
And do I
No,
even have to guess what your number one is?
no, you guys should know it by now. It's Thrawn, of course. I mean, come on. It's most recent addition to canon. It's perfect. There is not a single thing in that book that I don't like. And initially, I was reading it and I was like, I don't know when it takes place. I don't know if I like that because Star Wars has always had an issue with explaining when things take place and over how much time they take place. And then 250 pages into the book, they say 3 years ago when this all started. It's like, okay, and this is the start of Rebel, so it starts BBY. Okay, I know. Okay, I have no issues with this book. This book was perfect. This was a perfect character study of Thrawn. It made Thrawn a relatable character, and I'm not going to say anything else because Chris already is waiting for it to come in the mail, and I'm going to spoil things. I fear. But guys, if you haven't read Thrawn, read it. If you want more thoughts on it, it's the most viewed video on our channel, so look that review up. It's awesome.
For the
So
moment, although those free for all reactions, man, they're catching up. They are catching up.
I'm almost at 1,000 views. Come
I
on.
know, but in one day, those are at half that.
That's true.
Just saying.
Yeah, that's true.
But hey guys, make sure you check out those Schmodown reactions. Oh, shameless plug.
The shameless plugs.
Yeah.
Love them.
So, my number one is no surprise to anyone who knows me well. Lords of the Sith by Paul S. Kemp. Darth Vader / Anakin Skywalker is my favorite Star Wars character of all time. And the fact that Paul writes him so perfectly. Because, to give a little context to those of you who may not have read it, it takes place roughly 5 years after Revenge of the Sith. And at this point, Palpatine has pretty much successfully made Vader his bitch, but there is still little bits of Anakin in there.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, this is the story where Vader kills that.
Yeah. What probably is my favorite part of that book, though, is the moment that Vader is thinking about killing Palpatine. Palpatine tells him, then asks him, "Were you thinking about killing me?" And Vader is like, "Yes." Good. It was like It was so awesome. So awesome.
Exactly. I mean, and then of course you also have on the flip side of that our heroes who are just amazing.
They're
This,
Twi'leks.
yeah, exactly.
The Twi'leks,
But
and I don't love it. That's weird. It's weird, weird.
oh Lord. But
Lord of the Sith. Yes, exactly.
yes,
Sorry.
yes. There we go. There we go. Um,
Boy.
but what what Shamsin with Shamsindula and his arc, I again it you understand from the get go, from the pretty much the very first second, why this guy is doing what he's doing and why he is willing to go to the lengths that he does to keep keep his planet safe, to keep his family safe, to keep the galaxy at large safe from the hands of this evil empire that will not go away.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of his companions die for that cause, and it is pretty epic the way some of them go out, especially the um,
Spoiler alert.
spoiler alert, especially the character of Isval, and it's
Oh my god.
oh god, it's heart wrenching, but it's
It is
great.
heart wrenching. And look, as I just have a few issues with this book. It's still really good, and like this is one indirectly, this is also one of the reasons I like Hera that much, because Charm is such an awesome character, and Hera takes after him, and that's so cool. So that's what. That's also.
Actually, so I'm gonna ask you a question from the live chat real quick. Why not?
Oh boy,
Hey, Case, where did this obsession with Twi'leks begin?
I honestly don't know. Ayla Sakura, probably.
That's not a bad. That's not a bad gateway. I mean, she's something.
She is something. I
When
know.
she's not getting covered full of hot lead, hot laser.
I don't know. I just, for one thing, I have a thing for Tweedex. For another thing, I have a thing for the character of Hera, because that's one thing that I feel I kind of have to reiterate at points. Like, the character of Hera is mostly what I like about her. The rest is besides that. Her character, I love.
Harvey, go to bed.
Harvey, shave your head and go to sleep. You fucking ball back. You fucking British piece of shit. And if you don't like us cursing, then you can fuck off.
Case, you have to be a little more over pronunciative when you're doing.
Suck my fucking dick, you piece of shit.
Everyone, be glad that I did not show you the gesture that he just made.
Well, they can see.
No, they can't. They can't. When it's just us, nope, they can't. Okay, so yeah, that uh, I can gush about that book all day. I can gush about all these books all day because they're all pretty amazing.
By the way, you do understand my issues with Lords of the Sith, right?
I understand it, but
Okay.
I don't care.
Okay. No. But it was like I kind of feel bad for not liking it as much as other people, because everyone says that it's their favorite book, and I'm like, okay, sure. Sorry. I'm sorry. I
It's all
know.
good, man. I mean, it's kind of like why I'm kind of sad that you're not as high as me on Life Debt, because I really thoroughly enjoy that book. I really like it. I mean,
Well, there's one simple thing in the entire Aftermath trilogy which pisses me off, which is characters. Characters are weak as shit. Like, only Shinji is the one I care about, so that's what ultimately ruins it for me. And especially like one of the characters is one of my most hated characters ever. So,
yeah, well, can't please them all. So,
nope.
all right. So now we're gonna do.
Yeah. What shall we do? Comics,
Ooh.
games, lightsaber battles, characters.
Well, see, here's the problem. I would need to actually like, take my time with a comics list because I have read so many goddamn comics. It's not even
Wow.
funny. So, we'll say that for another time, another
All
discussion.
right.
You know what? maybe we'll do that when I bring you on Nights of the Podcast.
Sure.
Okay, got that squared away. Let's move on to our top 5 canon lightsaber duels
Ah,
because
yes.
I could do a top 15, including legends, and have to make some painful cuts. So,
Yeah, the thing is, I could make a top 10, but making a top 10 would mean including prequel battles, and that would mean that I would include things that I don't want to list. Sorry, not sorry. Honestly, not. So, what do we do here?
let's just go back and forth, 5-1. I'll start us off.
All right.
My number 5 is Twilight of the Apprentice, Ahsoka versus Vader.
I
Holy
have that one
shit.
higher on my list.
Uh, uh, okay. Uh,
I
the
just say.
reason, the, obviously, between the great dialogue, between the great music, between the feeling of sort of a hybrid of, obviously Star Wars, but also have sort of an neo noir slash old western kind of vibe to it. It's just, it's amazing. The only reason I'm putting it at number 5 is the episode itself is a little. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. The build up itself, I don't feel had enough of a payoff for me. Granted, this was still the payoff. Sorry, let me rephrase that. There's a correct way to phrase this and not come off like a dick. The
You're gonna
payoff was
sound like
great.
a dick anyway.
I know the payoff was great. The build up was there, but I wanted more. There we go. So
Needy baby, greedy baby.
hey,
Sorry.
you know what? If Rebels wanted to throw in filler episodes, they could have just done more episodes that teased Ahsoka versus Vader, and that would have been a way better filler than fucking Forgotten Droid or something like that. So
Yep. Got a point. All
what's
right.
up?
So my number 5 is Ben versus Vader on the Death Star, which is crapped on way too much. People don't understand that lightsaber duels initially were about emotional weight and dialogue and not about amazing, stupid visual effects that have no emotional weight to them. I mean, it's not the best choreographed. It was the first fucking lightsaber fight ever. Do
And
you
it will forever have my respect because of that.
And the thing is, there are two old men fighting. What the fuck are you expecting? At least it's got weight, unless some of the prequel fucking fights that have no weight whatsoever, that have shitty dialogue. It's like that is the reason
Yoda
why I
versus
like
Dooku.
exactly. It's like there are some fights in the prequels that are just worse on a lot of aspects, simply because they don't have any weight. And I just want to give the respect for the first ever lightsaber fight to be as good as it is. So that's why it's my number 5.
Okay, my number 4 is my God. Do you want to talk about a prequel fight that's actually very well done? There's a lot behind it. There's a lot of emotional baggage attached to it. Maul versus Savage, or Maul and Savage Opress versus Darth Sidious.
Yes.
Holy shit! I love this fight.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
it's honestly one of the most underrated in the franchise.
I wouldn't say that. I've talked to a lot of people online that really like that fight as well. And I
Oh,
think it's. I mean, I don't have it in my top 5. It would be in my top 10 though, for
well, that's
sure.
good to hear. But the thing is, when you have just all the red lightsabers, all the force powers, it's
I want all the red lightsabers, all the force powers.
yeah. Thank you, Mr. Roca.
That's
And
never gonna get old.
that's never gonna get old. Nope. um, but the other thing is, granted, yes, I will say I'm willing to argue that Pre Vizsla versus Maul is a better fight, but this fight is a spectacle. That's why it's higher for me
Also,
because
it's the first ever fight that I ever saw between villains.
you don't count Maul versus Vizsla as a villain fight.
Not really, no.
Oh,
I mean, just Sith Lords against each other.
okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like yeah, in that way.
Yeah, just all the gym. So, what's number four?
My number four, Kylo Ren versus Rey and Finn in The Force Awakens. It was a perfect return to not being too choreographed, feeling feeling that they're actually fighting instead of dancing around, and having emotional weight to it. It was a very well executed, very well shot fight. I also just love seeing those set photos that they are actually on it, that they actually build a huge set in a forest and that they actually have lightsabers that they have in their hand and they don't have to enhance by computer effects. It's like that they went back to what makes lightsaber fighting great, and that is why I love it so much. So that's why it's my number four.
Okay, fair enough. My number three. I'm gonna take all the crap for this. I don't care though. Kanan and Ezra versus the Grand Inquisitor.
Why
Season
would you
one,
take crap
Fire
for
Across the
this?
Galaxy. Because of what it's over. That's why. Look, I'm gonna spoil this right now for you guys. Luke versus Vader round two. It's not on my list, or well, it's not on this particular top five. It's in my top 10, but it's not in the top five. Yes, Case, you know where I'm going to go with this. But this fight is incredible. It's got even better music than Twilight of the Apprentice. It has a better use of choreography. It has a better use of the dialogue, considering that there's actually more dialogue this time around. And not to mention, this the build up for this fight is what makes it even better for me. Because this was build that was better paced than Ahsoka versus Vader for me. For me personally. And Case is about ready to keel over and kill me. Because he knows what my number one is, and he's gonna yell at me for it, and I don't give a shit. So, all right, your number three, Case.
Why do you hate me? Vader versus Luke on Bespin. Anyone who knows anything about anything knows why this is awesome. I mean, what is not to love about this fight? It's fucking amazing. It's like the cinematography, the dialogue, the greatest plot twist of all time. Everything about it just works, and it's awesome. It's not as good as the second one though, but sure, whatever.
And all the reasons that you just gave is why Luke versus Vader round one on Bespin is my second favorite can duel of all time. It's and not to mention the one element that always brings me back to it is the rewatchability. Because sometimes I've just watched the duel on its own, and you can tell just from the expressions on Luke's face, from the way that Vader is just toying with him at first, and then at the towards the end, that's when he starts bringing it. That's when he starts getting into the fight. That's when he starts being like, "Okay, kid, I am swinging. I don't want to hurt you, but I'm swinging, and I might cut something off." And well, ah,
Right hand.
yep, like father, like son. Spoiler alert.
Oh boy. Look, if you've not seen movies that are over 10 years old, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you.
Right.
Sorry, not sorry. Um, my number two is one you have mentioned before, Ahsoka versus Vader in Rebels.
Nice.
The more I rewatch that fight, the more I think it's just absolutely perfect, and the more I still cry. I still get all the emotions. It's so well done. I just absolutely love the fight. Yeah, pretty. I can't add anything to it that hasn't been said already.
And now Case is going to try to hang up on me or hang himself up because I don't care. My number one canon lightsaber duel, Anakin versus Obi-Wan on Mustafar in Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. Look, the thing is, going into this film, I read a bunch of books that detailed their relationship as master and pupil. I watched the 2003 Clone Wars, every single episode, and you could tell there was tension there, but you could tell that they were still friends. That you could tell from I was reading some of the comics and playing some of the games where you saw them again as master and apprentice, and the whole time I'm just thinking to myself, oh my god, these two are going to clash, and I'm going to be so excited when they finally do. And when it finally happened, you hear Anakin say the words, "You will try." They both ignite their lightsabers, and boom, one easily the greatest fight song of all time. I again, thank you. And that's and here's the thing. Okay, guys, I'm saying this from a film perspective. This here's something that I want everyone here to notice. Return of the Jedi was the first Star Wars lightsaber battle that like really utilized its score, because in Empire you only had the one moment. Then Return of the Jedi.
And yet you have Empire on this, and you don't have Jedi. Okay, I don't understand you right now.
Well, because I think it's a better fight, but um, but and of course, Episode 1 gave us a decently choreographed fight with a great song. This gave us a great fight. Yeah, sure, it got a little crazy, but again, the score alone would put it in my top 5. But the fact that, at least for me personally, there were so many other elements that go into why these two are fighting each other, and the fact that I saw so much story, so much development, so much tension rising, so much hatred being built up, and that music. I know. I'm wrong, Kees. I'm wrong. So please tell me why Luke versus Vader on the second Death Star is the best fight.
Well,
What's your favorite fight?
now listen. Look, this is really the first time I listened to your full story about Anakin versus Obi-Wan and your backstory to it, and I respect you for that. It's like, yeah, it makes perfect sense why you like it that much. It's just that I never got that connection that much. Sorry.
And I'm sorry
And
you didn't, but it's
yeah,
all good.
but the thing is, the score, yeah, Battle of the Heroes is also top 10 scores for me. I absolutely love that score. I think it's one of the most underrated pieces of music in the entire franchise, and I don't care if you hate the prequels or not. I mean, I don't like the prequels, but the score, Battle of the Heroes, is fucking amazing. So that. But anyone who I don't get why people don't have Luke versus Vader on the second Death Star in their top 3. If you don't, I don't get that. It's like it has perfect score, perfect choreography, perfect emotional depth to it. It's even more emotional than the first one, because now you have the father versus son fight, and it's the perfect ending of Luke's character arc throughout all these 3 movies. It had been building up since the first movie, and the way it finishes that arc, it's perfect. And it's just, there's nothing in this fight that doesn't work. Everything works perfectly. It's like, how do you not love this fight? Come on.
Oh, don't get me wrong. It's easily the best part of the movie.
Yeah, it is.
But also, my issues with the movie as a whole.
Yeah, no, that's true, and I feel sorry for you that you don't like the movie as much as I do, because it's honestly kind of shitty that you don't like a Star Wars movie as much as I do. Same thing that I don't like other Star Wars movies as much as you do. So it just sucks at times. But yeah, I have virtually no issues with Return of the Jedi, and that's why that payoff at the end is just perfect for me. So yeah, that's my number 1, of course.
All right, and yeah, so I guess yeah, I never did fully explain to you why I just am so goo goo gaga for Annie versus Obi. So
Not
and
no, not fully. Like you had hinted at it. Like the only argument you ever gave me was score, and I was like, a great score is not what makes a great lightsaber battle. It's like
yeah,
it,
no, because dude, objectively speaking, I completely agree. The whole swinging on the cables that doesn't make any sense. Uh, but again,
and you can say what you will, but for the most part, Anakin's dialogue in that battle still sucks. Sorry, not sorry.
eh,
Uh,
whatever.
whatever. Not getting into that right now.
Yeah, we're not gonna go 12 rounds on it because and
We have
plus
something. We have
well,
something else to talk about.
exactly we have something else we don't want to talk about. But I do want to obviously give you some credit for your number one pick because for the longest time it was my number one. But then I saw Revenge of the Sith, and then I really started loving Empire because when I was a kid, Return of the Jedi was my favorite of the trilogy.
Hmm.
But then I got older, and then I started overthinking things, and then I started overanalyzing it, and I think that's unfortunately, I just became a jaded old man, and I got sick of the Ewoks.
I never had an issue with the UX, and that's the thing. All the things that other people have issues with, I was perfectly okay with, or I actually loved. I love the UX. I love the second Death Star. I love the entire beginning with Jabba. I don't care what anyone else says.
Fair enough. And so we're gonna top off our celebration wrap up because of the big announcement with Battlefront 2. Even though, again, I could do a top 15 and make some painful cuts, we're going to do our top five Star Wars games. Uh, Case, walk us through your number five.
Number five, Lego Star Wars 2. The first Lego Star Wars was really good. The second one did it better in every way. Uh, and when they combined Lego Star Wars 1 and 2 into the complete saga, they took a little bit away from what made Lego Star Wars 2 so great. Because what I absolutely loved about Lego Star Wars 2 is that you could collect so many fucking studs in the levels, and they took so many away. It's like you can't get as many studs anymore. It was like, God damn it, that was part of the fun. That
Yep.
kind of crap. So like Lego Star Wars 2, I thought they perfected that get Lego Star Wars 1 in every way. And while I also really like Lego Star Wars 3, they did improve a lot of things, but by then I had played a lot of other Lego Star Wars games, and Lego Star Wars 2 was really the first Lego game after the first Lego Star Wars to come out, and they made it amazing, and I loved it. So that's my number five.
Okay, fair enough. My number five is TIE Fighter, the 1994 game for DOS and Macintosh, even though I have to play it on Windows. This game is stupid fun. It is so much fun to play as an Imperial pilot who not only interacts with the Emperor, but also interacts with a certain blue chiss.
Hey, nice.
Hey. And again, the story is incredible.
Hey,
The fact
by the
that,
way, for the dummies who don't know, that is Grand Admiral Thrawn.
yes, for
Sorry.
dumbasses who didn't know, is Grand Admiral Thrawn. Um, but again, this game was a huge part of my childhood, and I still love it to this day.
It holds
So
up?
it does hold up.
Okay, that's good.
Even though I will admit the game, you like unless you grew up with that kind of gameplay, it would take you a lot of adjustment, but
Yeah.
it's still so much fun. So number
Okay.
four, man, what you
Yeah,
got?
the thing is, in my games, I don't have any game released before 2003 simply because I didn't play any of the really old games. I never had like a Nintendo. I only had a Game Boy at one point when I was very young. That was really the only thing I got. And I got to playing games later on my PC. Second one, actually, like three out of the five I have is Star Wars Best of BC, which was a compilation game that came out at one point that they had some of the best games. But the simple fact was those games were the best because one of them, Republic Commando, such a yeah. It was essentially Call of Duty, but then in Star Wars. It was a very fun story of this squad of clone troopers. It begins with the Battle of Geonosis. After Geonosis, you go to um, uh, an Acclimator assault cruiser, and then you finish on Kashyyyk. And just the characters are really fun. The main character, of course, is voiced by Tamara Morrison, but the other ones have different characteristics to them, and just the gameplay was really fun throughout. And I spent hours on multiplayer. It was awesome.
Okay. My second, my number four. Uh, Again, another fighter, flying game, which is Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader. It just edged out Rogue Squadron 1 as my favorite of these games because what's not to love? You're flying a bunch of different ships. You are flying sometimes as Wedge, who is voiced by freaking Dennis Lawson. Oh
Nice.
my God, yes. So,
Speaking of him, where was he in Celebration this weekend?
you actually can see an interview with him on
Oh,
the Star Wars show. So just,
what's that?
you have to look for him a little bit, but he is in there. So,
All right.
yeah.
Any other
So,
thoughts on Rogue Squadron?
I could gush about it for hours. You know what? I'll say that for I'll say that for another time. 'Cause I don't
All right.
want to keep us waiting any longer because it is starting to get a little bit late. So,
It is. Right. So my number three, kind of have to cheat. Empire at War and Empire at War Forces of Corruption.
fair enough.
Because Empire at War is just a really fun. Um, I don't know what time of gameplay is it. It's like Command and Conquer and Age of Empires. What time?
Yeah. So real time strategy.
Yeah, that kind of gameplay was just really cool in a Star Wars game, and the first one was really cool because you have the campaign as the Rebels or as the Empire, or you can do multiplayer. That was really cool. And then with Forces of Corruption, they introduced like some of my favorite stuff in Legends, like with the Eclipse, which was just the best thing ever when I played that because with the first game with the first Empire at War with Rebels and the Empire, you only limited so much, and I was like, but you can do a lot more. Like, just go all out with capital ships, do something crazy. And then with the second one, they did that. With Forces of Corruption, they just went all out. They introduced superstar destroyers and the Eclipse, and you can like the final battle on Kuwat is just so big and so awesome. I just absolutely love that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I was gonna say, how much time do you have to spend zooming out and in just to know what the hell you're doing?
yeah, like you have to usually when you have the overview over the battlefield and you zoom out the most that you can still scroll, it's like you can't see what's going on. You have to like scroll to the farthest back so you can see where the fuck you have everything going on because you have the clips you have there and you have some stuff over here and over here and over here. It's like all over the place. Wow, it's so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and then my number three. Here's the thing. I was just late to the party on this one. Otherwise, I get the feeling it would have been much higher on my list. But
Empire at War or
no,
oh.
a little game from 2003. It was made by BioWare. It's called Knights of the Old Republic, the best Star Wars prequel of all time.
Which I have on my list, and it is higher.
And like I said, I was just late to the party. The first time I played it was in 2015.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Well,
Dude,
because
this was a big part of my childhood.
I'm glad to hear it. The
God.
thing is, I was a little busy fawning over my number two and one
Mm.
to get around to this one, and partially also because the other reason it's so because here's the thing: on story alone, this would have been my number one, no questions asked. One big issue: I'm not a fan of the gameplay. I'm genuinely not. I'm not a fan of turn-based strategy. I'm not a fan of where I actually can't control how my character fights, which is the reason why I love Kingdom Hearts so much. You can control that. Knights of the Republic, you can't. So
Okay.
sorry, but
Uh,
but I'll let aside, and I'll let you talk about it more when we get to it on your list. So
yeah.
go to your number
But
two.
by the way, you said that you started playing in 2015. Funnily enough, the episode where Hera says, "Well, get on it," was released in 2015. Apparently, you heard that. Sorry, stupid joke.
I use the Force.
Yeah, my number two is what you just talked about, Knights of the Old Republic. This is favorites. This is not best. Best, it would easily be number one. And I will give you, initially when I played the game, was very young, so I didn't really understand it, so I was not a fan of it. Then I went back to it, and then I played it entirely. At least I tried, because I sucked at the game at first because I didn't understand how the gameplay worked. But then I understood it at one point, and I finished the game completely, and I kept playing it over and over and over, and it was like, oh my god, this game is amazing! Some of the best Legends stuff ever, I think. And it's just so good. It's just so awesome. And that is also the reason why I hate Knights of the Old Republic 2, because Knights of the Old Republic 1 was so great, and Knights of the Old Republic 2 has so little to do with it. It's like, what happened? And I know it's explained in fucking books and comics, but for people who only play the games, I don't know. I didn't know what the fuck happened, and I was so disappointed with 2.
Well, to be fair, they dropped the ball badly with what they tried doing with it. Oh boy.
Yeah, they should have done 1,000 different things, in my opinion. But whatever.
Or hell, they could have done what the original idea they were going for, but just have Revan in the second game.
Like,
Is that too much to
yeah,
ask?
like that's one thing. Like, especially because the second game starts off, you are on the Ebonhawk, you have T3, you have HK-47 behind the locked door, and it's like, wait,
Goes down and it pisses me off.
I know. It's like you have all these characters from the previous game, and it's like, but where's Revan?
And why can't I talk to my Bay? Why can't I talk to the one that I love? The psychotic mass murdering droid.
Oh.
I love him. Statement. I know. Okay.
Okay, what's your number two?
Okay, my number two is not the one coming out this year, but the original Star Wars Battlefront 2.
God damn you! You're taking my picks before I say them.
Well, then look at this way, Case. I'm setting you up. And I'll just quick say why for me.
Personally.
Battlefront 1 was one of the most inventive games of all time. How do we make it better? You do three things. One, you put it in space. Two, you give it a solid campaign with a voiceover by Tamara Morrison. Three, you let me play as a Jedi. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. Yeah. So my number one is Battlefront 2 because this was one of the first games I ever played. I played this before Knights of the Old Republic, Empire War, all that crap. One of the first Star Wars games that I remember playing. And I remember starting up the campaign, and what is the first level again? Oh, Battle of Geonosis. You are as the
Yes.
clones on the Battle of Geonosis, and then you have, and then the second, like the first is Battle of Geonosis, and the second is the Battle of Coruscant. Back then, I was a prequels fan. I had seen Revenge of the Sith, Attack of the Clones a couple of times, so I really liked that. And to play as them, to be the the gameplay in space is fucking amazing for a game released in 2005, and
It's still
um,
great.
and then afterward you have the campaign, like you have the Rise of the Galactic Empire, the turning into the stormtroopers, how they actually go through that. Like you are still the 501st, and you are still the people that you started off with. However, now you are with the Empire, so you're now stormtroopers. You also take care of what goes on Camino. It was like everything of that I just loved, and the way it tied in, the way it tied the prequels to the original trilogy in the campaign alone was amazing. But the campaign alone is not what makes that game so great, because like campaign alone, Knights of the Old Republic would be at one. But as you said, the gameplay of Knights of the Old Republic and Battlefront 2 just had me. And Battlefront 2 had multiplayer, had other options as single player that you
Galactic
can
Conquest.
Galactic Conquest, all that kind of crap. It's like it's such a huge game, such a broad game. You have so much variety to do, and you could play as fucking Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's like this is the best thing ever. Come on. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's my favorite all-time Star Wars game, of course.
exactly. And honestly, if I knew
If I
how,
if I had played your number one earlier, I might have your number one as well on this list. But
and that's fine, that's fine. But I just want to quickly say about Battlefront 2. Uh, something I really want to do sometime, because I used to do this all the time whenever I played on Dagobah in the Galactic Civil War era. I played a little game called Jaws,
what?
where what I did was I go as Yoda, and I'd go into like the swamp area, like go under the water. I'd force pull stormtroopers to me, and I throw them all over the place,
Oh my god, this is so
and then
cool.
I'd run up to them and slice them down with my lightsaber, and that actually gave me an idea for a really horrifying one shot I'd love to either write or shoot, because imagine that. Like, imagine if you would, while on in his exile on Dagobah, Yoda has a moment where, or well, okay, a period where he falls to the dark side completely. He's consumed with nothing but hatred and rage, and an Imperial ship crash lands on Dagobah. These guys are just soldiers trying to get by in life, and one by one, they get picked off.
Straight up horror movie.
Exactly, and I think you would watch the shit out of that.
uh, really depends how they handle Yoda going dark. But yeah,
Well, no,
I
see,
may.
you probably wouldn't even see it, because I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't show him going dark. I would I would shoot it from the Imperial's perspective.
Okay, okay, that's okay. Maybe I don't know. By the way, one of the things that I remember in Battlefront 2, there was a glitch in the game. Uh, if you would do, I have to remember if you would, like you have to capture posts. I don't know
Oh,
what.
capture the flag. Or
No,
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 no.
no, no.
It's the most regular one actually.
Well, yeah, that's just
Conquest, I believe.
yeah. There we
Yeah.
go.
If you have conquest, then you have 6 points on the map with and those points you have to capture. And the best thing that you could possibly do is go to Coruscant, play as the CIS, then get Darth Maul, and make
Oh
sure.
man.
Yeah, and then make sure that the Republic only has the one in the corner, and then you
Oh.
go there as Darth Maul, and you just keep throwing your lightsaber, and all the soldiers just die, and they die, and they die, and they die. It's just awesome. It was just the best thing ever.
That is so cheap. I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, and then I'm gonna finish up with my number one, and then we're actually gonna have Evan come on here in a second.
Oh
Finally,
fuck.
and it'll be a good way to wrap it up completely. Just to hear from him real quick about some of his experience. My number one is Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one.
Sorry.
So let me just.
Sorry, that came out way too condescending.
Oh no! You're good. You're good. You're good. I'm in love with the character Kyle Katarn. He's a great character. For the longest time, I had a crush on Jan Ors, also voiced by Vanessa Marshall in that game. So, Case, what'd you know? Um, so then, with all that, another thing that I just absolutely just love about this game, take the complexity of this of a story like KOTOR, but you simplify it. Because KOTOR, in a sense, is basically a revenge story slash redemption story, depending on how you want to look at it.
Mhm.
But it's a little bit complicated. There's a lot of craziness involved. KOTOR,
And it's a slow
or
burn in a bit.
it is a slow burn.
Yeah.
Jedi Outcast just simplifies it.
Yeah.
You know,
And maybe that's why I don't like it that much.
bad guy kills your girl, you get your force powers, and you go kill bad guy and get the girl. So,
And you still get the girl because the girl is not that. Spoiler alert. Sorry.
well, yeah, exactly. So,
Um,
and it's amazing. So, and plus
yeah, and
the multiplayer. You want
oh,
to talk about fun ass multiplayer?
all right. I haven't played the multiplayer, and I haven't read any other from Kyle Katarn. So when I played that game, I thought it was cheap.
Oh no,
Uh,
you're fine.
but and you got to be honest, the graphics and gameplay does not hold up that well.
The graphics, not so much. The gameplay, I'll argue otherwise, but
I'm
yeah.
not a fan of the gameplay in that game. I still think it is a good game, but it's just not that great for me personally. Suck it, Ryan.
Exactly. Suck it, Ryan. And fair enough. So,
Now we get this little shithead
yeah,
Uncle Evan
exactly. Now,
Graff.
now we're gonna close out the show here in a second with a correspondence from our own Evan DeGraff, fresh home from the craziest weekend of his life. Evan, how was celebration? And his mic's off.
God
Oh,
damn it, Evan. Look, Evan, as much as I want to mute you sometimes, this is not the best time to mute yourself. Yeah.
uh,
Well,
nope,
get
still
on
can't hear
it.
you. Still can't hear you.
This is what happens when we're live broadcasting.
Okay, we're doing it live.
Okay. But
Okay, hold on.
seriously, we both have crushes on Vanessa Marshall voiced characters. Yay!
True. Granted, mine was as of a while ago, and oh, well, actually, I'm looking at the live chat here. Case, there we have a question for you.
Oh dear, here it comes.
It's from your favorite person in the world.
Oh boy, here it comes.
He says, "You ready to lose, Case?" But he also gave his top 5 games, oddly enough. And you know what? You might respect this. Number 5 for him, Jedi Academy. Number 4, Rogue Squadron. That earns a point in my respect book. Number 3, Shadows of the Empire. Number 2, Battlefront 2, and number 1, KOTOR. Nice.
It's a good list, but
But you're still gonna kick his ass, aren't you?
look, this guy doesn't even know his own fucking language, so how would he know anything of movie trivia?
True.
And he keeps saying that he has seen every single movie ever. I mean, look, how come if you've seen every single movie ever that you managed to answer wrong in previous matches, that you managed to lose to the guesser of this league, Sosland? He guessed his way to victory against you. You're a loser. So fuck off. You're gonna lose.
Bottom line, you're a loser.
Exactly.
Hickory dickory dock. Poof. All right, Evan, are you back yet? I can't hear you.
No.
Check your cable.
Uh,
Check your mic
Ev-
cable.
Evan, you fucking shithead.
Check both sides of the connection.
Ah, boy.
Turn your mic on.
By
God
the way,
fucking.
I can talk comics for a bit, possibly. Yeah, I'll just give a few comics. Guys, if you are into comics and you want to read some good ones, I recommend Shattered Empire, set right after Return of the Jedi, gives a little bit of insight into Force Awakens. Uh, Han Solo is surprisingly good. I was really impressed by how good that one was. The Kanan run was a run of 12 issues. Gives a lot of insight into the character of Kanan. You don't need to have seen Rebels for it, but it just enhances Rebels and it enhances Kanan as a character. So that's really cool. That's all I got.
Yeah, you know what? Screw it. I'll talk about one of my favorites. That being the Cade Skywalker and Darth Krayt arc from Legends. So the setting for this, a little bit of context, is 150 ABY. Part of the reason I was so fascinated by this comic run was the time period, because uh, we hadn't gotten there yet.
Yeah, it's
We hadn't
so far into the future. So yeah.
exactly, and Darth Krayt is one of the most interesting Sith Lords. Right, I honestly I put him right up there with Darth Malak and Darth Bane as some of the best,
Where's
because
Revan?
he's not a Sith in my book. Damn it.
He was at one point.
Well, yeah, at one point, but that's not how he ended his story, in my opinion.
Uh, still, you want the happy ever
I
after?
want, come on, man. Can you blame me?
No, I cannot, and
So,
I completely agree with you on that. This is the funny thing that people need to know about Chris and me. Either we completely agree or completely disagree on this kind of crap.
yep. So, okay. Hey!
It's working. It's working.
Oh, sure. You get the free pass on the Phantom Menace quote? I don't fucking think so.
I just did. Yeah, fuck. Got a problem with it?
All right. Okay. So now, Evan,
Sounds good.
how was celebration?
Look at that kind of speak.
Shit. No, you're not. It's not working.
It's
Are you kidding
not
me?
working. It's not working. Sorry.
Nope.
All right. Well,
Too bad.
Okay.
So sad.
Okay.
What a
So,
good time we would have had.
listen, guys. We will.
This sucks.
I'll be having a one-on-one with him this week, and it will be this week's Nights of the Podcast. So
Yay! Shameless
when,
plugs.
so when it comes out on Saturday, make sure you watch it, please. We're asking nicely. Otherwise we'll have to do one of those stupid Facebook post bomb things, and I don't want to do that. So, with that being said, again, this was a great celebration. I'm always glad to talk Star Wars with Kees. This sort of was our Nights of the Podcast, but that's going to be its own episode regardless,
way.
because come on, Kees.
There's so much more we can talk about.
Oh man, yeah, easily. So
Deep canon, deep legends cuts. Yeah, we can.
oh yeah, we can go there. So guys, for Kees Cornelisa, I am Chris.
One thing, no between the zones this week.
Yep, that's right. No between the zones this week, because sometimes we need a day off.
Yeah, and
I think we earned a day off.
Yeah, and the thing also is like the biggest news that came out this week was I believe two casting news issues, and we already talked about the Last Jedi trailer, so no news. Too bad.
Nope. Oh well. And so with that,
wait, did you say Stowell? Sorry.
We do not say that man's name. Sorry, that kid's name, I should say.
The champ's name, you mean? Yeah, little shit.
Right. But that being said, guys, for Kees Cornelisa, I am Chris Doman, and for Evan DeGraff as well. We'll see you this week with Nights of the Podcast, with the Family Trivia Schmodown, and of course our usual Schmodown reactions. Thanks for watching. Thanks for taking part in celebration this year with us. We hope you guys enjoyed it. We know we did, and I can't wait to talk to Evan about his experience. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Bye.